All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow, and remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. Give you a couple of words about my guest. Comfort, turbulent, acceptance, understanding. All the way from Dover, Delaware. Please put your hands together for Mr. Pop. Hi, McElveen. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on with you, Ty, man? Thanks for having me here,
Yeah,
man.
no problem, man. My fault on that last part. I was
It's
gonna say the whole thing, but you know
it,
what? I was gonna be like, you know
it's
what? I'm just gonna go with Pie Miguel.
it's all good, man. We all good with it.
All right. Well, man. Now, in some of the words I use to describe comfort, turbulent, acceptance, and understanding, you're here to talk about a lot today. Man, before we get into like the real good meat of how you hear, we're gonna talk about some other stuff too. Like one of the words I used was comfort. Now you're a father, you're an educator, and you're a mentor. Recently, you just won, the Alpha Phi Alpha Mentorship Award, and you were also NYC Chapter Man of Vision Award winner as well. What do those types of awards mean to you?
Oh man, other than being a father, man, and just being able to do for your own kids, that kind of means the world because a lot of the youth don't have that. So with me being able to contribute in any way that I could, and I in my community personally, where I came up from, which is Patterson, New Jersey, which everybody know, man, it's kind of like the hood. So we have a lot of kids who either don't have a mother or a father, or maybe don't have either. They either living with grandma, auntie, or maybe a coach that picked them up along the way. Or so, I mean, so my contributions to in terms of winning the Alpha Phi Alpha award, that was through talent competitions that they held. So a lot of people, I'm known for being tour manager for the group Riff, the 90s group Riff, and Minivision as well. So when we used to have, they had these musical competitions that they called the Black and Gold Idol. So when I wasn't on the road, I would come home and just go hang out
Right.
at this Black and Gold Idol. So one day, which is the former member, the former manager of Riff, and he was the organizer of this competition called the Black and Gold Idol, which are Alpha Phi Alpha's colors.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, listen, why don't you just come be a guest judge one weekend when you guys are home? So I said, sure, I'll do that. Then I ended up being the guest judge,
Okay.
and then they beat me up, man. They started calling me Simon. They were like, they were like, you were just a little too honest with the kids, with your critiques.
Oh
I
wow.
was like, okay. But then he started getting feedback like, but the parents loved it. Like everybody loves it. He was like, so next year, how about you just be a judge on the panel?
Mm.
So that's what I did. And not only did I judge the competition, but I also took out time to help the kids develop their shows and make sure they pick the right records, just so that they can put a presentation together. Because the grand prize for this was not only $1,000, but it was an opportunity to go audition for whatever record company that was available that particular year.
Mm.
So I became one of the guys who helped set up the record company to come in and audition with the kids. So that's what I did, man. I made sure we developed a great show in terms of production. I made sure the kids wasn't just up there wasting their time and other people's time.
Right.
So yeah, man, the guys at Alpha Phi Alpha, they recognize the time and the effort and the energies that I put into this, man. Because a lot of kids, they just do it. And then when I really went in and we dug in, and they really felt like, wow, I could really do this. So they had a different outlook on the whole situation, man. And it just gave them something to look forward to year after year in terms of that competition. And even when the competition was off, I still made myself available for them if they were having regular talent shows or they were doing showcases to come in and help them, come up with their look, their sound, their style. I had guys that would do photography for them, video shoots and recording. So yeah, they
And you know what? I'm gonna say this, like just listening to all of that, while it may not seem big and to like certain people, to others, that makes their day, because for some of them, they may never have another opportunity to perform or be in a competition as such. And in their mind, it's kind of funny, as you were saying, they were calling you Simon because you were being a little bit too honest with them. Like, well, hey, but from the background you come from, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, look, no, either you got it or you don't. Nah. And if you don't have it, I'm gonna tell you why you don't have it. These are the reasons why you don't have it.
Yeah.
Like when you have it, I don't need to tell you anything. We're just like figuring out dates and how to get you in the best venue for the best price. So I got it. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And plus, man, I had kids, so don't waste my time. Like you're taking my time away from my family. I was already traveling.
Right.
So now this is my time home. So if I come here, make it worth my time, man. You know what I mean? Don't take that time away. Don't steal that time away from my kids, because my kids used to go with me and they would sit right behind me, right? And so my kids are like, they would be like, nah, Dad, that ain't it. Like, they'd be like, nah, Dad, that ain't it. Like, so.
And they're brutally honest, man. And I mean, like, the filter is just zero. There's just times where you're like, yeah, you just wait till we get like in the car. There's no one else.
I didn't mind. No, because that was me. I taught them to be that way, though. I did. I'm that dad, right?
Right.
When you have a younger kid, they bring this picture home and they scrabble all over the picture. I'm like, oh, Dad, this is a picture of me, you, moms, my brother. I'm like, and I used to look at them like, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And people, like my family used to be like, are you serious? Like, why? Why would you even say that? Because if I continue to tell them that this scrabble looks great, then that's what they're going to do. Now I'm putting a cap on them being able to develop even more. So I just felt like if I continue to tell them that it was great, they'll be 15, 16 years old, scrabbling on paper, thinking that is wonderful. But if I was honest with them and my opinion of what it was that they were trying to get out of it, then they would say, maybe I need to work harder. So I can't bring him scrabble the next time. I actually have to put some more effort into it and make the picture more clear than what it is. And so that was just my thing.
Well, I mean, but that philosophy traveled over, into the competition. And as you said, people were getting their acts together, things got a little bit tighter, along the way. So, that's still hats off to you, man, and
appreciate it, man.
Man, look here. Y'all knew better than come out here doing what y'all do. Like, stop it, people. Stop it.
Especially after, if it was the first couple of times, I get it because you really didn't know me that well. Right. But after seeing me on that panel for some time, then you already knew. Yeah, like we wasn't doing that.
You know what? Man, you know what? I thought I'm gonna go back and get ready. I'll see you next year, though. Okay.
Yeah, for real. So that was the award given by Alpha Phi Alpha. The NAN award again. That's I don't know. That's Reverend Al Sharpton's organization.
Okay.
So that's the New York City chapter. Wow. So what they did was again, I traveled during mentorship musically for different competitions as well. So they were going to different little cities and notice that, okay, this same little guy is here with these kids. He's taking out this time to do this, to help these kids move forward and whatever their career choice is. So even if you didn't want to move forward in music as a singer, However, but that was just your way of kind of breaking your shell of being shy. We would still sit down, man, and have conversations about, okay, if this is not what you want to do, this is a great step to, you know what I mean, being able to present yourself in front of people, whether it's business or anything else. So let's start with this, since this is what you're good at, and then we can move forward with that. So they kind of found me, man. They found me. I had no idea. And I found out I was invited to this huge dinner in the city. And yeah, and Reverend Sharpton and his wife, they were giving out these awards, man. I was like floored, man. I'm like little old me, like, those are like my Grammys,
oh man, look.
And I feel great, man, because of the work that I put in.
Yes.
And that a few people recognize what I was doing for the youth.
So look, we talk about on this show all the time, giving people flowers while they're here. And I know, the saying has been, passed around in the regular world or what have you. But I believe in that wholeheartedly. And as you said, those are your Grammys. Those are your highlights, man.
Yes.
No one can take that away from you, because those are the achievements that you've been recognized, for. So, man, look here, hats off to you. And especially, like you said, with Reverend Al Sharpton, that sounded as if you really wasn't expecting that. Like, hey,
nah,
they just want me to come to this dinner. I'm gonna show up to the dinner. Man, hopefully they got some good food on the menu.
That's it, man. First of all, if you've never been to New York City, man, you're already like contemplating driving across all of those many potholes, and then you gotta find a place to park, hoping it don't cost you like a fortune, a small fortune to park your vehicle. So yeah, you're like, okay.
Right.
But yeah, it was worth it.
But that's more to your point, man. Like, you got to go through that, but to show up and to be recognized for, your achievements, man. Like,
amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. That's what's up. All right. Now, we're about to transition now. Okay. All right. Because that's what we do around here. We be transitioning. Okay. So the other word I used was turbulent. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about this book. The book is called The Transition, My Journey. Now, you wrote this book, and this book was inspired by your divorce.
Yes.
Okay. I've been thinking about this ever since I figured you was coming on the show. Now, I was going to have a conversation with my wife, but I'm like, you know what? No. I'm just gonna wait to talk to the source to just see what's up, well, and I just want to put like a little precursor on this for the people out here. Like, I was reading through the bio, even though it wasn't, it didn't give me all the like little grimy, details or whatever, this and what have you. But some of the stuff that I was reading in the bio, pretty much made me wonder, like how mainstream media is sometimes, or the public's perception of, people's perception of how divorce should be, depending on the sex, male or female. So, and thinking about that and thinking about like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna talk to her. I'm gonna talk to him because he wrote this book, so we're gonna talk, okay? So, man, let's just talk about it, man. Like, what's the story behind this book?
Well, like you said, it was inspired by my life after divorce. I just felt like we always hear the woman's perspective of what she went through after divorce, and then the men never speak on it, so we're left to get our backs kicked in, and it's all our fault, always, regardless. Doesn't make a difference. It's just our fault. So what I didn't want to do in terms of this book was to share what led up to the divorce. That wasn't important. I didn't want to, put my ex-wife in a compromising position just out of respect of her and my kids. So I just wanted to tell about my journey, from a man's perspective, because again, I mean, even from little boys, man, we're taught if we fall and crack our knee open, don't cry. You're not supposed to cry. Just get up and brush it off. So that's society's perspective of a man. Like we can't show emotion at no time. So I wanted to break that particular, cycle, man. I wanted to show people like, listen, we're human beings, man. We feel too, even as men, because I teach my sons, man, to be emotional. I mean, in a sense where I'm not saying you walk around, you cry about everything. But what I'm saying is if that pain hits, man, you got to let it go. Me and my boys, college athletes, man. And I love you, Dad. On the football field, around teammates, around friends, we hug and, we kiss each other on the cheek. And that's just what I teach my boys, that listen, don't get yourself so caught up to whereas you so hard that you can't release, right? Because this is what happens when we talk to young people on the streets, right? They were never taught to love, to share emotion, to talk things out. So the youth today, man, they're so like emotionless, like to the point where nothing bothers them. Their friends can get killed. They'll go to the funeral, man, high, and like they feel nothing. They feel nothing. And it's scary. It's scary. So I wanted to kind of just be different in my delivery. I wanted, as a man, I wanted to show that, listen, not only do women go through trying times, man, after divorce, man, but we feel it too.
Well, man, pretty much. And I'm glad that you're saying that, look, man, women have had their waiting to exhale moments and all these other things and this, that, or what have you. And this is not bashing or whatever, but I'm just saying in society and, mainstream and, media, what have you, movies, TV shows, all kinds of things, it's always taken from the female perspective, and the man is always seen as some sort of light, hey, even if he wasn't like a bad guy, he just couldn't like measure up or something like that. Yeah. And I don't really think that's fair because, there are just trillions of things that, attribute to all sorts of problems that people have. So, man, I'm glad that you said that. All right. But let's just talk a little bit more, because I want to talk about some quotes that, well, not necessarily quotes, but some things that, were said about divorce. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about divorce upsetting the natural order of things. And I want to talk about divorce being more painful than death.
Okay. As far as divorce upsetting the natural flow of things, I mean, again, you go from an everyday family, everybody's coming home from work, the kids coming home from school, you're involved in homework and everything else that's going on in the house. So you built this routine, right? You've become interdependent on not just your mate, but your children as well, because you have these schedules that involves everyone, right? So it's like, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna do this. When I get home, this is gonna happen. I got this practice I gotta drive this kid to. I got that practice I gotta drive that kid to. We got back to school night tonight. So once, and everybody is ultra involved in these daily activities, everyone that's in the home, right? So now once this happens, that shatters everything, right? No longer do you, as whichever parent moved out, whether it's the man or the woman, 9 times out of 10 it's the man though. So now my life goes from my everyday waking up to my kids' routine, right? To now I'm sleeping on someone's futon, right? And I may not see my kid today. or I may not see them tomorrow, or I'm not going to be there when they get home from school to help them with homework, or I'm gonna have to drive from over here. I'm not gonna be able to take them to practice. I'm gonna just have to show up at their practice, because of where I'm placed, I'm not able to get there in time enough to, as if we were in the home. All right, let's go. We got practice. Let's go. So, and not just for me. Now the kid themselves, they don't have that as well.
True.
So now it's like, okay, so daddy's not here to take me. Now let me see if I can ride with my friend, or let me see if mommy can take me. So when I say it disrupts the natural order of things, that it does. And that's just the physical aspect of it. Now, mentally and emotionally, remember, you and the missus, you guys kind of agreed to make this move, right?
True.
However, this decision was forced upon the kids. They had no say-so in the matter. So now they're stuck in this transition, not by choice. Again, adults making decisions for their kids. So now everybody's up in arms. Now the kids are feeling like, okay, daddy is going to be replaced, or there's a possibility that we rarely see daddy, So now all of these things are going on, and they're trying to figure out, is it my fault? What did I do? Why? But we thought everything was so, good at home. So now it leaves everybody just in turmoil, mentally, emotionally, and physically, man. So now you got to kind of navigate around this decision that were made by these two parties. And as far as, it being tougher than actual death, because I see it as like death itself has a finality, right? So if you're dead, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So now the death of a marriage is something different, because your family is dead, like it's just everything. But unfortunately, physically, you have to live through these emotions, man, and get yourself back. And when I tell you, it seems like there's never light at the end of that tunnel.
Right.
Man, it's some nights, man, where you're just sitting there and you're like, why? Should I even have gotten married to begin with? What did I do wrong?
Right. Did
I just waste my time? Was it even worth it? So now you just start going through all of these things, man. And it's like, it takes a toll on you, man. It takes a toll on you.
Man, but see, that's deep, man. And, as we said, those are the aspects of, divorce is from a male perspective that we normally don't get, because as I said, it's usually through a female scope, or it's through some Hollywood's version or some writer's version of how a man should be going through divorce based off society's norms.
Yeah.
Still, it still comes back to the same thing, how society views us to be. And, as you said, man, we're real people, and, we hurt. And when things don't work out, the natural order is off, and that throws everything into a
frenzy, man.
Frenzy.
Yeah.
And it's not what people think, and I like to talk about misconceptions sometimes. Trust me, people, men aren't always jumping around, oh man, I'm so glad to be rid of her.
Not far.
And I'm gonna keep it even more real. The ones who are saying things
are lying.
Because at the end of the night, they know what it is when they lay their head down on that pillow. Man, you already spoke on it, man. So, hats off to you, man, for real, for just like putting that out there. Now, I got one more question now, all right, about that. Now, how can men, in your opinion now, no one's saying we're therapists or nothing like that. We're not that people. All right. These are just opinions. All right. But in your mind, how can men work on themselves while transitioning through a divorce? Like, what are some tips, or in your opinion?
Well, I'll tell you what I did to help me. Now, this is just me, right? What helped me was I shared this with someone else and they called me a stalker, but it was cool though. So what I did, right, is because my kids' emotional well-being was far more important than mine at this particular point. So I put me on the back burner, right?
Okay.
This is what I did. After I got myself together, because again, we're not millionaires, so we're not like the people with money that get divorced every other month. But one of them can move back to their home in Beverly Hills, while the other one keep the other mansion. So our reality is we got to go sleep on somebody's futon or couch for a minute until we can come up with the money to finally get our own place. We got to get that first month's rent security down so that we can finally get our own place. We ain't worried about the furniture, just the place.
We just need a place.
Yeah. So what I did when I was apartment hunting, I said, wow, what I'm going to do is go back into the neighborhood where my kids live and see if there's any available apartments, right? So that's what I did. I moved probably a block away from them.
Okay.
So now my reason for doing that, I don't want people to say, oh, he was stalking his ex-wife. Not at all. I had no interest at this point in what she was doing with her life. So my reason for doing that was to give my kids not only a security, but the option, right, to still be able to come home from school and see daddy. They didn't have to wait till birthdays, holidays, weekends, or whatever other special days were on the calendar. So I said, let me move a block away from my kids. So if they come home from school one day and they want to stop in, they still have that option to see me daily, right? I can still, now that I'm back in the same neighborhood, they can come to my house, we can get homework done, we can get to practice, right?
Right.
And by the time all that's done, we could either go back home to mommy where we can shower and eat and lay down, or we can go back to this guy's house. It doesn't make a difference, right? But I wanted them to feel like, okay, well, this step he made makes me feel like he's here. Regardless of what's going on between him and mommy, he's here.
That's what's up.
So I wanted to bring them that security, right? And that peace of mind so that that part of their lives, right, could be whole and they can get through school. Because one of my sons, man, this dude started bugging out in school, like before I made the move. And I really wanted to beat dude up, because it's like we had the conversations, but then I had to understand that he's not an adult. So although we have these conversations, his way of showing it is definitely going to be way different than as an adult. So once I made this move though, man, it kind of eased up the behavior. So I said, okay, good move. So that was one of the things I did, me knowing that my kids were good, right, thrust me forward at least 45 to maybe 50% in my journey. Okay. Right. So that's just me as a man, as a dad, right? Yep. Being a father, a provider, protector, so that's just me. That was just me. Once I knew that they understood that they were going to be good and we were going to be good, then I felt a lot better, because then again, that's one battle I didn't have to fight in court.
There you go.
When I'm gonna see them, what holidays can I get them? So I can still be a part of their everyday life, back to school, school functions, after school programs, whatever. I can still be a part of their everyday life. So that right there, man, that took a lot of weight off my shoulders, right? And I really didn't date much. I didn't. I wanted to make sure they were good. I wanted to make sure my relationship with them was straight. And I wanted to make sure I was good. See, what happens is, right, everybody is so scared of being alone, right? Sure. Like, why are you so afraid of yourself? Number one. But then I realized what it is though, Ty. It's these things I call, man, invisible wounds, right? So many people have been bruised emotionally throughout the course of their lives.
Yeah.
that being alone, right, it really makes them feel like they're not wanted. So instead of, right, going through the full healing process, they just jump from one situation to the next, just so that they don't have to deal with these emotions, right? So no one wants to heal, because in this healing process, you're gonna have them painful days.
Right.
But who wants to feel pain?
No one.
Right? No one wants to feel pain. So what they do is they sell themselves short by cutting off that healing process, man, just to avoid those painful moments. But then if you look at the history of things, right, what continues to happen is you continue to see more painful moments because you didn't allow yourself to heal. So now you go into a new situation, right, with the carryover effect. So now everything that was done in that past relationship, again, these invisible wounds, right?
Yep.
There's some action that may occur in your current relationship that may spark some of those emotions and put you right back through there. So I didn't want that for me. And I knew that eventually I would date again. So I definitely didn't want to put that on the hands of someone else. So I did. I allowed myself through family and friends, man. I mean, I definitely had a great supporting team, man, you know, and I allowed them, or they allowed me to cry on their shoulders. They allowed me to express myself, and even my kids, man. And I mean, the men in my family, though, those guys were like, listen, man, there's plenty of fish in the sea. We're gonna get through this. Now, just go on. I'm like, listen, I get that, but y'all can stop playing, because y'all been divorced too. Y'all know what it is, and y'all know y'all had to get through that phase in order to get to the next phase. So yeah, and I did, man. I made it my business to make sure that I didn't rush into a situation. I wanted to heal me, because I knew there was some fault in me as well, coming out of this situation. Okay. And I was willing to admit that. So now what could I do to be, the next time, to be a better friend, a better companion, a better lover, a better partner, you know what I mean? And overall, man, a better man and a better father, you know what I mean? So what are some of the things I can do to help me get to that point? So you don't learn much about yourself, man, until you hit rock bottom.
So, man, look.
Yeah.
My point, man. Look, these are the words that I use: comfort, turbulence, acceptance, understanding. Like, we pretty much hit on all 4 points through this conversation. And I mean, man, like, you really bring up some real good points. You know, like, if there's kids involved, you still want to be involved with them. You know, you don't want to, you know, go through the whole court. Hey, you know, I haven't seen my kid, you know, this week, or is this, that, what have you. If you're in the area, move closer. If you're still able to be, you know, in the same area, you know, that your kids are, man, be closer to your kids. That way nothing's like strange or what have you. You know, there's always, actually, you know, it could be a little bit better for the child as well, because, you know, when they're not really feeling what's going on at home, like, man, I need to talk to dad. So
yeah, see, but people get it twisted, man. Again, both men and women, they put themselves before their kids. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I can't be around him, or I can't be around her. Was every day peachy with their moms and I? No. However, it wasn't about that. Somebody had to be the adult in the room, right? So what you cannot do, is talk any negative talk, you know what I mean, about their mother to them, or to just no negative talk at all. It's just that I'm just the type of person that just didn't work out. That's me, right?
Right.
I don't get any joy out of saying, oh, this was this, that was that. It just didn't work out. So we came to an agreement that we had to move forward, you know what I mean, apart. So it wasn't about whether or not I can be around her or I can deal with her, because out of so many years of being together, I've learned how to navigate, you know, right. Because let's face it, man, divorce just don't happen. Nobody just wake up one morning and say, I don't want to be with you again. So it's this time period, man, where the tension in the house is extremely thick, right? Yeah. And it's cold. You know what I mean? It's cold, man.
Yeah.
The nights are cold. So you're going through this anyway. So yeah, just gotta learn how to, man, say, listen, man up and be like, yo, those are my kids. And I'm not going to base my I was dedicated to me not basing my relationship with my kids off of my relationship with my ex-wife. I divorced my ex-wife. I did not divorce my kids.
Man, speak on it.
So for all you men, right? Yeah, I'm talking from a man's perspective, but I want our fellas to be right. So for all you men who got this notion that, yo, she dating somebody else, let that do. No. We're not doing that, because here it is. We're talking grown folks talk. Those were your pumps, my man. You know what I mean? So handle your business. I don't care how much she like that dude, because 9 times out of 10 these dudes say this and they got a lady and they over there taking care of somebody else's. Like, listen, we're not doing that. So even if you and the mothers don't get along, make sure that your relationship between you and your kids are solid, because these babies grow up, man. They grow up. I even allow my kids, man, to write an open letter, and I published it in the book, just so that people can get an understanding on how it affects the kids. I didn't want to tell people how it affects them. I wanted my kids to share how this situation affected them.
Oh, I mean, man, just like creative, and you know, you're getting a point of view from the people that matter the most. So yes. There you go. All right. So we gonna transition from that. We coming into, man, we bringing it home now. You know, we only got a couple of minutes left, but we're gonna bring it home real quick. I want to talk about this podcast real quick with you and Nitty Green called Vibe Sessions.
Man, Vibe Sessions is like the coolest for me, man. Yeah, myself and my partner Nitty Green, man, we have been talking for some time, man, about doing a podcast, but you know, that's when the world was open, so we never really found the time to sit down and do it. So after COVID, naturally, what happened was the group Riff, they were going to do a podcast just to kind of keep themselves aligned with the fans.
All right.
It didn't pan out that way. So he and his lady, which is the show's producer, Danielle Silva, they was like, they knew I was getting ready to do the book. So they said, listen, let's have you on. Let's let people know what you got coming up. Let's discuss some of these life issues, man, because at the time, I mean, domestic abuse numbers had risen, you know, not just couples, but parents and children. So those numbers had started reaching all-time highs. So they was like, let's just talk about some things, man. Let's talk some people through some things. We didn't want to touch on, you know, anything else other than that. So he had me on one weekend and we did it. And then people started inboxing him like, man, you and your brother need a part 2, man. Y'all need to do part 2 of this conversation. So I came back the following week and we did it again. And it was a real good response. So his lady was like, listen, why don't y'all two just co-host Vibe Sessions, right? Nitty Green, he's the artist, he's music. You know, you got the book, your life, and everybody can just speak on love, right? The music and what you're speaking about brings love and unity. So we did, man. We started forming it and we started having these conversations, man. And the engagement with the people was great. And then we started reaching out to some of our musical peers.
Okay.
And we started inviting them on, man, and celebrating them. And they started coming on. It was great, man. Last week we had Shanice, man. Beautiful soul, man.
Okay, I love your smile, Shanice.
Yes. Right. Beautiful soul, man. And this upcoming Sunday, we have the phenomenal Tony Terry, man. So we've had people, we've had Dalvin from Jodeci, we've had Joe Little from Rude Boys, High Five, Riff, Shy, Allure. Oh man, I may be missing a Big Bub was our first guest. Big Bub from Today. What? So yeah, man, it's been
Big Bub.
Yeah, man. It's and Mark Gordon from Levert.
Okay, all right. Okay.
A gentleman by the name of Timmy Gatlin, which is one of the original members of the group Guy.
Okay.
Okay. So man, it's been a great ride, man. Vibe Sessions every Sunday on Facebook Live, man, at Vibe Sessions Official, 7 p.m. sharp. We're there, man.
Vibe Sessions, all right. See, there you go. All right. So we've come to the very last question. The question that my show's known for. Man, I mean, actually, this is a vibe session. We've been vibing, pretty much the whole time, we've been up here talking. So I'm kind of sad that you arrived at the last question, but
man, you can bring me back anytime you want, because we definitely didn't touch on everything. So you can bring me back whenever you want, man. I'm here, man.
There you go. All right. No, let me go ahead and ask this question. All right. Mr. Pi McElveen.
Yes, sir.
What is the one word that best describes you and why?
Compassion.
Okay. Why?
Because I've lived life. I've had good days. I've had bad days. I've had ups. I've had downs. There's been days when I didn't even want to be around people or groups of people, right? Because of my circumstances. However, so many people in this particular time showed me so much compassion, man, to help me overcome my situation, that I've become that individual, and understanding that instead of looking at someone for what they're dealing with now, right, look at them for who they are, which is a human being that needs love, that needs compassion, that probably just needs an ear, that probably needs an eye, needs somebody to look out for them, needs somebody to speak up for them. So I've become that because it's all about love, man. And in today's time, we're losing so many loved ones at an alarming rate until it's so scary. Like you don't even understand it, man. It's just scary. Before, I remember growing up, man, and somebody was going to pass because they had some type of ailment or something like. So it's like now, it's like you talk to somebody today and it's all good, and then before the night falls, it's like R.I.P. It's like, you got to be kidding me, So yeah, man, it's compassion, man. Please, let's have compassion for others, man. Let's continue to love one another, regardless to if there's a difference of opinions. That don't give you a license to mistreat people, bash people, or just kind of put negative, energy out on that person. And let's stay positive. Let's love one another, man. And let's always have compassion for one another.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's what's up. Now, if people want to get in contact with you or just say what's up, and like, look, man, I love what you was talking about on World with Ty Brownlow. How can people get in contact?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram Live, Little Pi McElveen. That's me. Also, you can go on my website where you can purchase the book. You can purchase the book. I also do life coaching and relationship coaching as well. And you can find out more about those services on my particular website, which is www.littlepimckelveen.com. And that's www.littlepimcelv like Victor, EEN like Nancy.com. littlepimckelveen.com. That's how you can find me.
That's what's up, ladies and gentlemen. Well, man, I appreciate you being a guest on the show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been World with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. You can follow me on all social media platforms at World with Ty Brownlow. Or you could just go to my website, tybrownlow.com, get this wonderful interview plus other great interviews. Mr. Pi McElveen, man, I appreciate you being my guest, and I appreciate you, coming through, dropping knowledge, man.
Man, I appreciate you for having me. I'm humbled. I'd like to thank my friend Katrina Hertz, Kick Up Your Heels Entertainment, man, for putting this together. And like, she's just like the greatest, man. And definitely want to shout out my beautiful kids, man, and my lady Key and her beautiful kids, which have now become mine. And definitely, man, the king and queen that brought me here, my parents and my sisters, man. But again, I'm humble. I definitely appreciate you, man, for taking out your precious time and allowing me to share my story on this evening.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Man, like that, ladies and gentlemen. We out. Peace.